Hey everyone, welcome back again. I guess this will be episode 10 on the 59 GMC Fleetside. Gonna carry on with this, filling in the little panels for the cab stretch, and carry on from there. I want to thank everyone for all the new subscriptions and all the old guys that have been around for a while. And Snow Crusher for suggesting I put a filter on my camera. I'm using a Nikon Coolpix L120, and I have to order a special filter cover for it, and then I'll be able to use it a little closer without fear of ruining the lens on my camera. So I'll show you what we've been working on here today, and what we're going to start working on right away here. So I came out earlier today and I completed all the welding in the fill piece on the inside cab corner. I finished welding the floor all the way across, and I put the fill piece in on the passenger side. I got it all ground down. It just needs to be seam sealed now and should be good. Next thing I'm going to work on now is this fill piece on the driver's side. Get it done. I ran into one issue. There was a really bad dent that started right up here behind the door. It pushed this in. There was a couple of creases, and it went all the way back and pushed in this corner. So I've been working that bend out, but the contour here didn't look quite right. So what I did was I took a beer can cardboard template off of the passenger side with an exact outline of the contour, and put it on this side, and as you can see, it's quite a bit out. This area here, right where the dent was, I have to get some more inward curve in it so my template fits here really nice, and then I can start making this fill piece. So I'm going to dolly and hammer this until I get the contour I need, and then we can carry on with making this fill-in piece. Okay, we're back here. Get out of your way. So what I used was my slapper made out of a chunk of 1 3/4 leaf spray, and just a regular body dolly, and I got the shape back in here really good. For the bottom section here, I find that the top is actually different side to side. Go figure. I guess we're just going with the quality from the get-go on these 59s here. Both of these are different side to side. So from there, now I'm going to get a piece of 5-inch 18 gauge cut here. What I do for marking, for cutting with a zip disc, I find that using Sharpies isn't quite accurate enough. They don't hold the point long enough. So I always use a scribe and put a nice sharp mark in it. I can follow exactly with the angle grinder zip disc, and to see it, I usually wear one of them LED headlights. It reflects off the line really well here. So I'll get this piece cut out, and we'll start shaping it. Okay, I'm just showing you this on the passenger side. Because this is such a tight radius on this bend right here, the way I started this piece after I had it cut was using my dolly in the vise. Using my slapper, I put the curve in the top of the piece here. I left it a little bit long so that I could trim it to fit the piece above it. And then from there, I took it over to the English wheel with the rubber band on top, and I started putting the second part of the shape in it here. I just head back over. Right here, nice and tight. So, because this is quite a bit tighter bend than anything else we've had, I had to go up to my third biggest radius on the English wheel to get this piece in. Once I got it relatively close here, I marked and trimmed this to fit flush on top. I can still take a little out. I've got, the radius is pretty much spot on following this back piece. Now have to put the mark on for the body line down here. See if I can get my hands in the right spot. Just a sec here. It's not quite where it has to go, but close. Probably fall on me. So now I'm going to line this all up, and then I'm going to transfer this mark for my body line, and I'm going to put that in using the tipping die in the bead roller, just like I did this one up here. Okay, so once again we're set up. We have the tipping die on. I have the round over on the bottom so that it doesn't give me any, there's nothing in my way because I got to bend this down, and we'll just run this through. So I have my mark here where my tip is going to be. Get this the right direction. All I'm going to do is put a little bit of up pressure on it. Okay, started really nice there. We'll do one more time. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so we have a nice body line break in that now. It's nice and sharp. I will get rid of this felt pen line, and then it'll show up a lot better. Okay everyone, we're back again, another new day. I figured I better install this door, and just to make sure all my body lines are lining up. It would be a real catastrophe to have this all welded in here and then find out everything's out to lunch. The door needs quite a bit of adjustment. The hinges were seized up and they've been bent. There's three of the 6 bolts that hold the hinge into the A-pillar are broken. So it's not staying, it's not in as far as it's supposed to be. It keeps pulling the hinge out. So that'll have to be adjusted. The gaps I'm really happy with so far. This is going to get pulled in a little bit here. And what I found on my new panel that I'm putting in here, okay, this one we were working on yesterday, I have the crease in it. When I get this, roughly in position, the body lines are lining up perfectly. The gaps I'm going to be happy with. So what we'll do next is continue trimming and getting this piece tack welded in here. And we can work our way down, do the cab corner. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it's working out here. I think once a guy gets a little bit of primer and a little bit of blue paint on this, it's going to be really tough to tell that the cab was even stretched. I'll just come a little further away here, see if I can get up higher without killing myself. There's a pretty good shot of it. I'm really liking it. Now the other thing I haven't mentioned is this is not going to get body worked. It's going to get sanded really good with 80 grit. It's going to get primered, and then I'm going to try and blend the patina in. I hate body filler, I hate working with body filler, and I'm allergic to it. So that's one of the reasons I'm taking so much care in making sure that the panels are absolutely perfect when I weld them together, so that when I grind them, I'm not losing a bunch of material. So anyhow, we'll carry on. I'll start fitting this piece and show you where we're at. The one thing I did do, and I didn't show yesterday, when I was putting this body line in, I screwed up and went off the line. Actually, I followed the line and the line was wrong. So I ran it through, I put a new line on where it was supposed to be. I ran the crease, and then I set this on my I-beam right along the crease where it's supposed to be and straightened out the part that wasn't supposed to be there. And you can barely tell that it was even planished there. So mistakes happen. Okay, so I got this trimmed down so it's really close, and what I'm doing now is just sneaking up on it with the angle grinder with a 60 grit flap disc on it. And what I do is I run a felt pen line, a Sharpie line, all the way down the side, and then I slowly grind up to it, and it gives me a reference on how much material I'm taking off. And if I have to add a little more, I can put another line 1/8 of an inch in and just work it there really slowly till I get the fit that I'm looking for. Okay, I just figured I'd show you the fit here. I'm getting really close. It fits in behind the factory lip where I cut. And now I've just got a few small spots that need a trim. It fits all the way down. I'm going to have to take just a touch off the top here where it butts up to this other sheet, so the whole thing can move up about a 1/16 of an inch. And then it's just going to be tweaking the bends in it slightly on the English wheel and with the dolly in the vise until I get the exact fit I'm looking for, and then I can start tack welding it in. After about 60 trips back and forth to the English wheel, I finally got it. I'm going to have to just manipulate it as I tack weld it down just to bring everything together. This is a little bit floppy, and so is this piece. But I'll start up here in this top corner, make sure it is exact, then this corner, and then I'll work my way down this line and this line. And if I have to do any trimming here, I can do it as I go down. Right now our distance is perfect all the way down. So I'm going to get this all tacked in here and see how it goes. Okay, so after probably 3 hours of tweaking and fitting, I finally got this piece to work. I did have to take it back to the bead roller. If you recall a little earlier in the video, I thought I had this line at the wrong angle, and I went and I changed it and then flattened it out. Well, I shouldn't have second guessed myself. So I put it back in the bead roller, and surprisingly, when I followed the original line, it straightened out the one that I put in when I put the new one in. So I'm right now tack welding it all in. I've had to keep opening this up. It's really pulling it in, and I'm not sure if it's because of the damage that was on this this quarter or cab corner here, but I think I have it now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my trusty paint scraper, and I just push in on it till I get everything nice and flat. From the top I get no gap, and then I'm just going to tack it all the way down. This way I'm guaranteed no whammies as far as one panel being higher than the other. Keeping my tacks pretty close together. Not going to bother there because the cab corner goes there. Not going to do too many. I don't want to overheat it. Okay, whoa, sorry about that. Just going to close the door here. We'll see how things line up. Way too much crap in the way. This door doesn't fit real great. Take you out. Okay, it's looking really good. Our body line is nice and straight. This door does have to come down about 1/16 of an inch, which won't be an issue. Our body line's looking pretty good. When I put the new cab corner on here, this one will straighten out some. So now all I have to do is get this all welded. And then I can start on this cab corner. Okay, we're back again. Another new day. Yesterday I spent most of the day. I had to go up to the city, get some supplies. I needed some MIG gas, a couple sheets of 18 gauge so we can carry on here. What I started out with this morning was doing some more welding, a little bit of tack welds, really trying hard not to get a lot of heat into the panel. So far so good, no warpage or anything. So the next thing on the agenda is this cab corner. We're going to install a new one, which I have right here. It came from Scott's Super Trucks in Penhold, Alberta. He's got a really good inventory on everything. So what my plan is, whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to drill all the spot welds in the lip where this is spot welded to the door, to the B-pillar here. I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to use the new cab corner as a template. Wherever this ends up here, that's where I'm going to start the cut. I'm going to trim this piece off of the cab corner, and that I'm going to weld to here, and then I can add my piece in and put the cab corner in. All of this rusty inner cab corner here, wherever the rusty stuff starts, I'm going to trim that off all the way around, and I'll build a new piece to go in after I have the cab corner done, because I'll have access from the back side. There's not a lot of access up high. That's why I fixed this first, and this steel up top here is all in really good condition. So I'll start out here now. I'll get these spot welds drilled. I'll trim this off. I also have to separate the outer part of the cab corner from the inner part here. I'm not sure how rusty it is behind there. I may have to make this piece new as well. And I'm going to use this lip and this body line to line up my my new cab corner. So I'm going to start cutting this apart, and then once we get to fitting, I'll bring you back. Okay, I've been gingerly removing the old cab corner here. I got this piece out of there. They sure put the spot welds in all kinds of random places, but it come off. Usually I use a spot weld cutter, but these are kind of a strange spot weld. They're really small, so I've just been using a 5/16 bit. And I came over here. This one intersects. There's a brace that goes between the back of the cab and the floor of the cab where the cab mount is. And I didn't know if I wanted to get into it too much, but I am. And I'm going to cut this over a little further and leave my cab corner to the full dimension that it came. And then over here, see if I can get some light in here. I started drilling the spot welds. I'm going to have to find the rest of them. And then down here, here's what I was talking about, quality on these 50s trucks. If you look down here, this is all weld. It's got to be half an inch wide, and it looks like somebody just learning how to welded this in here. So I don't know if it was poor fitment of parts or just a young, inexperienced welder working on it. So I'm going to try and get all this cut out of here without damaging the B-pillar. And then I've got to figure out where my cut goes up here off of the cab corner. And I can get this piece positioned and welded in with some spot welds. And then the cab corner, I can fit it and get it exactly where I want and do my trim all the way around here for the cab corner, as well as the filler panel. Well, actually, there won't be a filler panel because it's already in and I'll be cut up into it here. So, oh yeah, there will be from here down. So, okay, we'll keep cutting away here and see where we end. Okay, I'm working on getting this, the old cab corner removed. I've got spot welds drilled out up to here. What I have to do now, because I lengthened this, I can't put the cab corner in the way it is to get my length, how far up I'm going to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this flange off the cab corner, dead straight all the way down. This piece will get spot welded where the old one is, and then that will be the edge that I use for my 5-inch extension in there. I'll get that cut right now. Okay, I've got this set up so that I can follow that edge perfectly with the edge of my cutting disc. I don't want to wander off into the cab corner at all here. Just gonna have to use my headlamp, but you get the idea. I'll get this cut off. Okay, so I've got this flange off of the cab corner in here. I put a reference mark on it on the side here. Hopefully I can get you in here and you can see it right here. That's where this contour line is. Now you can still see there's a whole whack of weld here and crap, there's a spot weld. I'm going to have to get in there and grind that out to allow this to move in a little bit and move up a little bit. So what I started up top here is I got my initial cut mark, which is going to be right here. That's where it'll start going around. So this is a touch long. I have to trim the old cab side, the rest of the angle out of here, and then I can clean this flange all up underneath, put some rust converter on it, and then I can figure out the back part of the cab corner here, get my line scribed where it's got to go, and we can start welding this stuff in here. Just working on getting everything lined up here and ready for the final cut on the cab. So I've got it so that this body line here lines up. This one's not going to. I don't know. I guess there's discrepancies between the replacement panels and the new ones. So I've got to trim a little bit off of here. I've got my line marked all the way around. The other thing I noticed is this panel, if you can see it from here, comes around the corner and then it slopes up quite a bit. I was going to try and trim this straight, but there's no need to do that. Then I'm going to end up with a cut edge here as well as here. I could get a little bit of waviness in it. The other thing is this flange is too wide by about 1/8 of an inch. It needs to come back slightly. And the other thing I noticed is it's thicker here. It sticks out further from the cab than the original one. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to deal with that yet. Once I get this set up so that I can put my spot welds in, what I'll probably do is put one spot weld at the top, then I'll close the door and I'll just see how this lines up with the edge of the door. Okay, I'm about to get started cutting here. Just finished doing a little bit more welding. Keep everything nice and cool. Okay, so I've been at getting this new cab corner fitted. One of the issues I ran into is there's this line that goes down the back edge is a lot sharper on the new piece than it is on the old piece. So what I had to do was work that a little bit, and then I started my welding right on the corner on that peak, and I worked around. And what I'll do is I'll work out from the center this way and this way to get everything to line up properly, because if I start tacking over here with this already tacked, I could end up with a little extra material in the center here. So I'm going to carry on with this, get this all fit in here as best I can, get it all tacked up, and we'll see how it comes out. I also got the front lip here. I've got that all plug welded in, ready to go. My body line lined up here, so that's all good. Okay, I'm creeping up on it here. I got it tacked all the way across. Everything's really nice and flush. I got the plug welds done on the back side here. I'm just going to work my way around the front side up to the edge here, and then I can make my filler piece to go in, and hopefully it all works out here in the wash. So we'll be right back shortly. Okay, we're all tacked in. A little bit of welding to do on that one. Still working my way up the side here. Gonna go in for a bite to eat, and then I'll start working on the filler piece for here. And it's gonna have 1, 2, 3 breaks in it. So it's gonna be a little bit complicated, but we'll get her done. Here we go with another new day, trying to get this driver's side all finished up. I just finished another round of tack welds on all of the seams around the cab corner and up the side of the cab here. There's one last piece to fabricate, and what I did was I took a piece of beer case CAD again. I set it in here, and I transferred an exact mark for the profile for this piece I'm going to make. What I'll do is I'll cut another 5-inch strip the right length, and we'll get these curves and this shape in it on the bead roller and in the brake. Okay, so I have my piece, my 5-inch piece with the lines laid out where the contours and the body lines go. This one, and this one. The one problem I have is they're not real defined in this cab corner. They're more of a curve, so I might have to sharpen them up a little bit, because up here we get into a nice, fairly sharp body line. So what I did to get my spacing, I drew my profile that I can use for my depth of bend, What I did was I took a piece of tape, put it on here, using this crisp line here as a guide, put a mark, a mark, a mark, and then my finish. That gave me my distance. Just take this off. I can lay this on here. And doing that allowed me to transfer the distance between the bends to all of the pieces, or where I have to put the bends in here. So next we'll go over to the brake, and we'll do the first one on the... Okay, I'm all set up in the brake. This is what I'm going to use for my depth of bend. I'll put the bend in, and then I can compare it to the mark here. Going to take a couple tries probably. See how this is backwards. Okay, so man, I got that on the first attempt, as you can see on the... So now what I have to do is start putting a little bit of this curve in here, and I can start working out these other two crisp lines. Well, they're not going to be crisp, they're going to be close. Okay, I'll carry on. Okay, so I've got the first two bends in it. What I found, to match the body line, I had to put a slight curve between these two bends before I bent them. And what I did was I put my body dolly in the vise, and I used the curved handle part of it, and I just tapped this in until it matched the radius on the cab corner there. Next, I'm going to put in the next body line here, and it may need to be softened a little bit after just using a body hammer. And there's the third bend in it. It's got a fair bit of radius in the bend. It's looking like it matches up really well. So the next thing I have to do now is get this to fit the back of the cab corner as best I can, and then trim the front side to fit the piece that I plug welded on there. So that's the process I'm going to attempt next. So after about an hour's fitting, I've got the piece in there. It's fitting really well. What I'm going to end up doing is tacking this corner, because that's the key body line that I have to line up. And then I'm going to tack this edge all the way up. And then I'm going to manipulate the cab corner to this, and then this I'm going to bring out to match the running board. There's quite a discrepancy between the cab corner and the original running board, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of tweaking there. So I can show you that once I get started on it here. Okay, so what I've got is a bit of an issue here. I've been tacking up this side, and what's been happening is it's closing my gap up, and we've got two, you can see there's still a gap up here, but we've lost our gap here. What I'm going to have to do is run my zip disc through here to open that back up a little bit. I have no access to the back for planishing, so I have to be really careful here that I don't get this sucked in, because I have no way to pull it back out. So I'm just going to open this up, and then I'll clean up the two edges, and I'll do some more tack welding here. Okay, I got the piece tack welded in. I got the whole bottom edge here done. I just wanted to show what I've got here is I welded this up completely. Dressed it down with the 36 grit, then a 60 grit zip disc or roll-lock disc, and then I've sanded it with 80 grit on the DA. I've got one little alignment spot here that didn't work out really well. I'm just going to fill that in with a little bit of weld, and we'll be good. The other issue I have is up here at this corner seam, because there's four pieces coming together. It's kind of pulled it in. So I'm going to have to go inside and planish this out. Try and flatten out some of these welds, which will bring this back out for me. Next thing I'm going to do is finish all the welding. Then I'm going to get it ground and sanded, and I'm going to put some primer on it, and we're going to see how this turned out. Hey everyone, welcome back again. Sunday morning, start of another new week, and more work on 59 here. I'm just working on finishing up all the welding. I'm about 99% done on welding. I'm just checking with an LED light from behind for pinholes and tacking them up. And then I've been hitting it with the 36 grit Cubitron just to knock the tops off the welds to get it down. Then I changed to a 60 grit roll lock disc, and then when I get that down to so that it's flat on both pieces of material, then I go to an 80 grit sandpaper on the DA sander. So I just wanted to mention that I have never had any formal training in bodywork, metalwork. Everything I've learned from YouTube and from destroying sheet metal that's perfectly good. And trial and error is a really good way to learn, but watching some great YouTube channels helps a lot. Carl Fisher from Make It Custom. There's quite a few of them out there. I just found another new channel thanks to Randall from Shed by the Tracks, Kyle from Carter Auto Recycling. I understand he's somewhere in the province of Saskatchewan with me. Really good skill set. He just he's working on an 80 and early 50s Chevy half-ton, doing a chop on it. Pretty intense. Learned something new there. Would have saved me a bunch of problems on the roof if I'd have made my my strip out of metal that I could cleco onto the roof to keep the proper curve in it. But that's how you learn. Just keep watching. So proceeding ahead here, I've got what I did yesterday. I got all the welding done down here. All the body lines lined up really well. Up top here, I've got this pretty much final sanded, and I put a little bit of primer on it just to see how things worked out. You can still see some of the panel where the panel's joined, but very, very faintly. If a person was going to body work this, it would take just a really light smear of Bondo and some sanding, and it would be good. Because I'm not doing that, all I'm going to do is primer. I'm going to get some blue mixed up, and I'm just going to blend it in. Like I said, this is going to be a daily driver, and our roads in Saskatchewan are such that an expensive paint job just ain't happening, and I hate Bondo. So I'm going to continue here. I'm going to clean up all my welds, keep checking for pinholes, touch them all up. Anywhere that I have a little bit of misalignment in the panels, because I haven't put my new filler piece in on the inside yet, I have access to the back for planishing, and I can just use the dolly and my slapper and get everything tuned up really good. Once I get this all ground and sanded, then I'm going to red primer the whole corner, and we can start doing exactly the same process to the other side. So anyhow, we'll be back shortly. We'll see what happens here. Just wanted to bring you in here while I'm working on the grinding and sanding. Show you what I'm ending up with here. So if I can get you in close enough, I've got the odd little divot where the weld, one edge is just like a micro bit lower. I've got a few of them. There's a couple here, one here, little tiny one there. And then on the front edge here, where I welded to the old piece of steel, I've got a few spots that need just a touch of weld. These ones I'm going to do These ones I'm not even going to touch. Every time I put weld to it, I'm introducing a little bit more warp, and I don't want to do that. So I've been planishing this the whole time. It's coming out really nice. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just putting primer on it and then a little bit of blue. So I'm just going to carry on, get this all ground. Any pinholes I find, I'm going to weld them up. Okay, finally, I've got all of this panel welded in. All of the pinholes are welded up. I guess it's panels. I've got everything sanded. I've got probably about 4 areas where I have a little touch of misalignment in the panel that I'm not going to worry about. This right here is actually a wrinkle that came in the new cab corner. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of primer on, and we'll see how the whole thing looks with some primer on. Okay, everyone, we got some primer on here. Let's bring you in and show you. Cab corner, really happy with how it turned out. There's a few areas that aren't perfect, but I didn't expect it to be perfect. So we got a little bit right in this body line. I probably could have grounded a little bit more. I didn't want to go too far. And I'm just going to take you around to the other side and show you the reason for doing all this lunacy, all this work for 5 inches. Just get you up in the tripod here. So naturally the light would be right in the way. Okay, as you can see, that is the driver's seat, and it is sitting currently at the position that it would have been able to go back. That's as far as it would have been able to go back with the cab in the original position. With adding the 5 inches, I'll just go open the door and move it back. And that's the position it can be in with the cab extended 5 inches. It'll actually go back just a touch more. I've got the bottom rails here in the wrong spot. It's going to give me tons of room, lots of leg room, and just make super easy and super comfortable. So that's where we're going to end this video. We'll carry on the next one. The next one I'll be starting on this side. I'm not going to show you all of that because we've already done that. I'll probably just bring you in at the end of it. So the next one I'm going to do a bunch of videotaping on is going to be repairing the door posts and the sill up top here. So that's where we'll call her. I want to thank all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers. We've just flown, we're just about up to 1,000. 960 we hit this morning. Really appreciate it, everyone. Take care. We'll catch you on the next video.